How's the campaign so far? What's the kind of feedback you seem to be, going around courts using your own, you're a lawyer yourself. You think these will attract a little more extra votes for you?
No, I mean, it's been a practice every election for all candidates across parties to come and campaign in the court premises. And being a lawyer myself and having worked with most of the people here, it definitely is an added advantage. Also got to meet with a lot of old friends and a lot of mentors and seniors who have played a very important role in the very initial years of my practice here. So it was nice to come here and take their blessings. There's huge enthusiasm among public. The last few days we have been conducting road shows all across the constituency. The kind of reception we are receiving, the kind of enthusiasm I'm seeing, especially among women and young people, is phenomenal. So we are very confident. I mean, all 4 seats of Bengaluru seem to be a big BJP victory this time.
How is this campaign different from the last one?
Personally speaking, last time I was a new candidate, so the whole narrative was about giving me an opportunity to be a member in the Prime Minister's team and give me an opportunity to work. Whereas this time, in addition to the phenomenal work that we have done over the last 10 years as a Modi government, I have also got the opportunity now to go to people, explaining to them the work I have done in the constituency for the city over the last 5 years. And that's one difference. I'm going to people with a report card of the work that we have done. The second is that because this time around I had got a little more time to campaign, our campaign has been a little more organized. We have got a little more time to go even deeper. So almost 70 to 80% of the geographical expanse of the constituency is covered by now. We have next week remaining, so I hope to cover almost all important junctions and nodes of the constituency. These are the two prime difference. The third, of course, is the last time when we went to elections, JDS was not with us. This time around, JDS is with us, and in Bengaluru, JDS has a formidable presence, and in constituencies like Bengaluru North and in Bengaluru South, in addition to sealing the victory, JDS alliance also is going to play a big role in increasing the margin of victory. These are the 3 primary factors.
So these are constituency and city specific things. Last 2019 campaign was also in the shadow of the post-Poovanna, Balakot, nationalistic surge and wave. That is missing this time. So you think it's a wave election? It's not a wave election.
Every election of Prime Minister Modi from 2014 onwards has been a Modi wave election. And sir, when I tell you this, because I have been on the ground the last 1 month every day. I leave home at 5:30 in the morning and come back home at 12:30. I can see that, yes. So I can tell you the pulse of the people. The undercurrent this time is much, much bigger than what it was in 2019.
And how does it square with the big reverse that your party suffered in state elections just the other day?
Yes. So the collective intelligence of the voter, the common voter, must be appreciated. The voter understands which is a state election, what is a national election. The voter also understands that the leadership is different, the narrative is different, the context is different. Therefore, the voting patterns are also different. So, the very same voters who perhaps would have made a different choice 8-10 months ago in the state elections are going to be overwhelmingly voting in favor of Modi ji this time, because they realize that the country needs a leader of the caliber of Modi, who has performed consistently over the last 10 years, has had a positive, lasting impact, personal impact in each of their lives. People also appreciate, this is something that I have been observing, people are understanding the value of political stability that comes with a full majority government. So even in low economic household areas, people are speaking about full majority Modi government. So therefore there is a strong resonance of the Ab Ki Baar 400 Par call that PM has given. So I think this is the voters' intelligence.
you say up ki bar, political stability and all of this. How does it resonate with the people of Bangalore? Because the problems largely remain the same. Even though we're a high-tech city, we love our monikers, startup hub and everything. But our problems are very third world in the sense, the water problems, roads. These are still very basic things that are yet to be addressed.
Sharan, you tell me one city in the country today which does not have the problems that you mentioned. Over the last, I think I have seen one of your of the cut the clutter, ones on urbanization or
Right.
something. And there's a point that you make of how India, over the last 60, 70 years, successive governments have neglected or have been indifferent to urbanization,
The cities, yes.
right, towards the cities. So this is pretty much the case with all Indian cities. Perhaps, the first time that concertedly an effort was made towards addressing urbanization and giving it impetus and making it more organized was under the Atal Bihari Vajpayee government, when we got the airports first sanctioned to Bengaluru, we got the metro sanctioned to Bengaluru, and now in the last 10 years of PM Modi, starting from the new national urban policy to increasing our metro expansion, metro network, to smart city mission, to outlay to manage solid waste management, air pollution. These are now, we are finally addressing these things at even the national level. But the delivery on most of these issues primarily remains with the corporation and with the state government. Having said that, the last 5 years, ever since I got elected here, we have tried to bring the focus back on Bengaluru's infrastructure. And because if you go around asking people, because you're from here, people will tell you, one common feeling is that while Bengaluru galloped economically the last 2 decades, 3 decades, our infrastructure did not catch up with the pace of economic growth. For example, the suburban rail project, it is pending from 40 years for approval. We got the approval the last 5 years. 10 years ago, metro network in Bangalore was 7 kilometers. Today, it is 78 kilometers of operational metro, second largest after Delhi. In just the last 5 years, we built the 268 kilometer satellite town ring road, which is going to greatly decongest the core of the city. We also augmented the public transport capacity by adding 1,500 electric buses to the BMTC under the FAME scheme. US consulate, which was a demand of the city from the time of
You were
SM
mentioning
Krishnas.
it in your speech also. Although the speech
Yeah.
was in Kannada, but I picked up
Yeah.
US consulate.
So most of these, things were pending from a long time. I think even under the smart city program, around 850 crores has been specifically given to utility shifting. Under safe city project, there's a lot of work that we have done to install CCTV cameras and monitor, movement in this thing. To keep the city safe, we got an NIA office approved to Bengaluru. So I think the last 5 years, people are noticing that insofar as the city is concerned, big ticket public infrastructure projects which were pending approval from many years is now getting fast tracked, and the work is being built. People are seeing the work happening. So I think people are cognizant of this.
And you said corporation. That a lot of it is the corporation's responsibility. But you have a corporation in Bangalore? No?
Sir, unfortunately no.
Yeah.
And personally speaking, I have been a votary for holding corporation elections in time, as regularly and with as much importance as we hold assembly elections and parliamentary elections. What happens, sir, I will tell you. When I'm going campaigning in the parks in the morning or on the streets, 60 to 70% of the complaints that public give are all municipal complaints, civic issues. The reason why people are escalating it to the level of an MP, even though strictly speaking your jurisdiction is not that, is because they do not have a corporator, a councillor to whom they can actually raise this issue. So, they say there is, an empty site, it is now becoming a garbage dump, please help this. The local, the street dog menace, please take care of this. The culvert is not closed, please help with this. Get the tree wing, like one branch of the tree chopped off. These are primarily the issues people come. But I have been a consistent votary. So even when our government was in power, I have always been an open advocate that the 3 tiers.
What's the reason you think that this election is not been held? This remains superseded or whatever you call it. It remains non-functional and civil servants are running such a big city.
Unfortunate. I think it's political. Across all parties, across both the BJP, Congress and JDS, I think um, legislators do not want to let go of their hold over their constituencies. This is the pure political problem, and I have been as candid as possible on this.
Even internally within your party.
I have been a vocal supporter of this, of conducting corporation elections. Not from now, from 3 years I have been speaking about this.
And
Because I am a firm believer.
And if you do get elected, you will again make an issue of it and put your force behind it.
Sir, there are 2-3 things that I have consistently campaigned for as a city. One is holding of these elections regularly. And these are all apolitical issues that I think are important for Bengaluru or any other city in the country today. One is to hold elections to local bodies regularly. Second, the kind of empowerment we give to our local bodies, both financially and politically. Even after the 73rd, 74th Amendment, which was actually intended to give them the teeth to actually deliver, I don't think most of our parastatals have the kind of financial and political weight to actually get things done. So I've also been an advocate of a new BBMP Act, which actually brings all these parastatals together and empowers the corporation, empowers the mayor to actually get things done in Bengaluru. In fact, earlier the term of the mayor in Bengaluru was just 1 year, okay, and we have 198 wards. So in 1 year, take away the government holidays and all these occasions. Even if the mayor were to visit 1 ward per day, he will still fall short of a few number of days, and his term will be over. Right. So it's all ceremonial. So I have even then been advocating for a longer term for a mayor, so that there is stability and he can actually get things done. In addition to that, sir, when Bommai sir was chief minister, I was a constant, a vocal advocate of an act called the BMLTA Act, which we passed. So this is the Bengaluru Metropolitan Transport Authority Act. Now in a city like Bengaluru, you have the metro, you have the BMTC, that is the buses, then you have our suburban rail that is getting done, then you have the auto rickshaws, you have DULT, that is called Department of Urban Land Transport. But unfortunately, none of these speak to each other. So to bring all of them together on a common body, I pushed for this legislation, and I'm happy that during our government we even passed this legislation. The objective is for all of these to sit together and put it on a common platform. Unfortunately, ever since the new government has come, the Congress government, they have still not made an appointment of chairperson for the BMLTA, which I think is very important for decongesting the city.
So now you spoke about the Congress government in power. So they've come out with a few guarantees. That's what they're going to the election, and then it's being countered with a Modi ki guarantee. Do these things resonate with voters, let's say, in Bangalore?
Absolutely, it does. The voter understands both these guarantees in 2 ways. Primarily, he understands that this is a national election. The objective of the election is to elect the country's leader. So every vote, he understands, if it is given to BJP, makes Narendra Modi the Prime Minister. If it is given to any other party, the choice is unclear, it is unambiguous. I mean, it is ambiguous and it is, it's as confused as the India Alliance themselves are. So, for clarity, for political stability, people know that at the national level, they need a strong leader. So, that is the Modi guarantee at the national level. Second, even collectively, I have been speaking to people who the Congress thinks are going to be their voters on the basis of the guarantees. Now, they gave me a very interesting example. Take the PM Suryodaya scheme, for example. Now, the Congress here promised 200 units of free electricity. Ever since then, the per unit charge, which was 4 rupees, is now to 9 to 10 rupees. So, people are now understanding this cross-subsidy model. On the other hand, you have the PM Suryodaya, where Prime Minister is saying, I am going to help you put rooftop solar on your house. 300 units you will get free. Anything more you produce, you sell and get the money. And over a period of time, you pay off the subsidy. Government will also, not burn money. You will also earn. So there is a win-win-win everywhere versus a loss everywhere. So people are able to also intelligently understand and differentiate these two approaches towards empowerment, economic empowerment. And I am sure that this time around, most of the skeptics who think that these Congress freebie guarantees, which is akin to like a pocket money economics, and coming from Rahul Gandhi, I do not expect anything better because all his adult life, he has always lived off pocket money. So doling out, freebies seems to be the only way to economically empower somebody. That's the Congress's approach versus a stable, sustained economic empowerment. That is the Modi model. I'm sure this time people will very intelligently differentiate the two and vote for something that is sustainable in the long term.
How strong an impulse is religion in this election?
Sir, I would say the cultural revival that has taken place over the last 10 years, I wouldn't want to use the word religion. I would say the cultural renaissance, the cultural revival, a sense of self-confidence that has, you witness all across the country is very palpable. So, when people wish each other with Jai Shri Ram, it doesn't mean there is belligerence. It isn't anti anybody, but it is the reawakening of pride in a very old ancient civilization which has again found its roots. So I think in that sense, a long lost voice, a long lost self-confidence is found again, and that definitely is going to play a very important factor.
Before I let you go, because somebody whispered in my ear as we were talking, to ask you about the water crisis in Bangalore.
Yes.
Because that is what
Correct.
is affecting everybody.
Yes. So, sir, it's a serious issue, but people understand that the primary deliverer, the primary responsibility of fixing this water crisis rests with the state government, rests with the corporation and the state government. Now, Bengaluru needs around 2,200 MLD of water every day. We get around 1,450 MLD from Cauvery, which we pump upstream for about 110 kilometers, which makes Bengaluru's potable water one of the most expensive and most inefficient waters in all of Asia. The rest of the 650 MLD of water primarily comes from our bore wells. Successively, over the last few decades, we have had a criminal neglect towards our lakes. And because of the growing real estate appetite in the city, uncontrolled urban cover, we have lost a lot of our lakes, which has had a disastrous impact on the aquifers of the city, which is why today this was an unprecedented crisis. We have never had this kind of a crisis. And despite multiple warnings from almost 6-7 months, I remember we had a press meet that we had called 6-7 months ago, warning the state government that this summer is going to be, because all predictions were there, is going to be very hard and state government must start planning. But despite multiple reminders, it looks like the state government was callous, was caught napping, has not prepared enough to address the water crisis. Also, we suffered multiple adverse orders at the Cauvery Tribunal, Cauvery Water Management Authority, and again the state government, I feel, did not put its best foot forward in explaining the state's case, and we lost out to what can even be termed politics of water, because even when the state was suffering adverse orders, Deputy Chief Minister went before media and welcomed these adverse orders. Maybe it may help them in the India Alliance equation, but it surely is at the cost of Bengaluru's drinking water.
But even then, if you got that water, you will still have to pump it higher up and would cost a lot of money.
That anyway, we are spending 3 crores every day. Bengaluru spends 3 crores every day to pump water up from TK Halli to Bengaluru. It's a 110 kilometer upstream that we do. So the difference that it would have made is the quantum of water available would have been more.
The same, more or less the same expense.
Yeah. I mean, the expense is never a problem because we have already been incurring this expense. The quantum of water is reduced and is why we are facing this crisis today. Short term as well as long term measures have to be taken. I would say that in addition to taking the immediate short term measures, as a city, the civic society must also wake up to the pressing challenge of water security in Bengaluru. Close to 4.5–5 lakh borewells are there in the city. And there are more that are unregistered with the BWSSB. So we have truly abused groundwater in Bengaluru. Now we need to protect our lakes.
And you have a tanker mafia? Every
Well,
city does.
sir, every city does, but now because the problem is of lack of availability, all other mafias start, right? It's a demand and supply problem. Now we have global models where we can study and get, we implement solutions where we effectively recycle our water better, treat our water better. There have been efforts now being made to do that. Over the last few years, we have been taking, setting up bigger STPs, higher quality STPs to treat water better, etc. There are 192 living lakes in the city today that need to be protected at any cost. Second, we also need to address the health of our stormwater drains. That is also something that needs to be done on a war footing. Third, and most importantly, so only 4 to 5% of the city has rainwater harvesting at residential complexes and homes. And I was speaking to a geologist or hydrologist recently, and he told me that Bengaluru receives around 19 TMC of rainfall. So if you actually collect it well, it is enough to surpass the most severest of summers. So this again needs a collective movement.
We have to learn from the Israelis on that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, we have a lot of work cut out to be done.
Whether it's the BJP government or the Congress government that follows, when you speak about stormwater drains and everything, the tag of corruption always follows. And, they say corruption is the biggest problem that, you've let this city expand as unregulated as it is. It's probably corruption. So how do you stop this? I mean, who's actually, looking after this?
As a a journalist and elected representative speaking, okay. As a Bangalorean to a fellow Bangalorean, Sharan, tell me, which is the agency in Bengaluru that is actually thinking and planning for Bengaluru?
Supposed to be the multiple actually. BDA,
Which one?
Yeah, exactly.
No.
The multiple, yeah.
BBMP, which is the primary nodal agency, the civic agency, does not have a planning cell for Bengaluru. Okay. Now BDA, which was supposed to actually be the original organization, that is Bangalore Development Authority, they are busy doing real estate work. I honestly feel that BDA, the government must not be into real estate.
Its counterpart in Delhi, DDA, I've always called it Delhi Destruction Authority.
Okay.
Because they've been building apartments and trying to sell them, and I'm so happy now that nobody's buying their apartments. Earlier, they used to be black market.
I mean, see, today you have, the biggest business in Bengaluru is real estate business.
Absolutely.
So you have hundreds of builders and realtors doing this job. Why do you need the BDA to also make layouts, right? So BDA is not doing it. BBMP is not doing it. Then you had the BMRDA, right? Now what is that doing? Even you're not seeing the impact of any of these organizations. So I think primarily we must be fixing those issues, because what you are seeing is actually symptom of a problem. The problem is that we don't have institutions which are actually capable of planning for Bengaluru and also has the political capital to get a few things done for the city.
And the institutions that are there have got run down over time.
Yes, absolutely.
And you think there is need then for the central government and the state government and the BJP and the Congress to work together on this?
Sir, honestly, on all issues, the ideal is always for everybody to come together and work. That's the ideal.
And you are open to it?
Always, sir. I mean, if people want to approach solving an issue with a genuine intent, we would definitely want to work, I'm telling you very honestly on camera, even in the Congress party, here I have met with and worked with a few people, few leaders who are very open to, collaborating on a specific idea to idea or an issue to issue. I think slowly politics also should constructively, maturely, evolve, so that it's not always about, who scores the political goal, and more about really sincerely addressing issues.
I think those are good points, Sharan. As a Bengalurian, you have a
I have
last
just
question.
one last question
Wow.
about the startup,
Okay.
the startup part
Yeah.
of it. Now, you see a lot of focus on startups and disruptive technologies.
Yeah.
But in a state like Karnataka,
Huh.
you have your Ola Ubers struggling to they're fighting with the governments to get some sort of recognition. They don't know still whether they're part of the IT department or come under the transport department. You have a large number of gig workers who remain unprotected. So, what kind of policies are you looking to actually, for this kind of, this gig economy,
Yeah.
the entire startup ecosystem?
Yeah.
Because on one hand, they want to flaunt that we have a startup
Correct.
account. But what happens to the other part where the regulatory framework has not caught up with these disruptive technologies?
It's natural that in today's world, law should always play catch up with technology and the disruptions technology is bringing. A case in point is our data protection law. While the world is still struggling to understand the dimensions of the impact that data protection can have, the Indian model has been to introduce something called the consent manager, which is a techno-legal approach to understanding and implementing the data protection framework. So you have examples where governments are actually innovating and bringing legal solutions and techno-legal solutions to manage all of these. Karnataka is a very progressive state. I'm sure that whether it is startups, whether it is gig economy, I'm sure in the coming days, the government of India, in all of its responsible domains, will definitely push for reforms and statutory compliances to be made, and regulatory compliances to be made in this sector as well. For example, the insurance for gig economy workers was something that was not existent a few years ago. 2 years ago in the budget, we started the insurance cover for gig economy workers. So I think slowly it's catching up. I'm sure it will not take a lot of time.
Lastly, what's the number BJP in Karnataka?
Don't
and
be-
across, let's say.
Don't be surprised if Karnataka is going to give all 28 seats to BJP. Yeah.
BJP and JDS.
Yeah.
Your
Yes,
part.
yes,
Well,
yes.
good luck to campaigning. It's
Thank
always a contest.
Thank you.
And good to see a contestant smiling.
Oh, why?
Not stressed out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big smile. I mean, did the Congress candidates you meet, naturally they would be stressed out.
Any candidates I meet look stressed out in so many decades.
Okay.
I mean, it's a rare one who's smiling.
Okay. No, thank you.
So keep smiling.
Thank you so much. It's also because, sir, I have worked very hard the last 5 years on the ground amongst people in our constituency. And if there's one thing that I have gotten inspired about, specifically about our Prime Minister, it's that if you're working every day and you're with people every day, then elections are not going to be, a big challenge. So it's a consistent effort over the last 5 years, and the love that people are showing is, I'm really grateful for that.
Keep smiling.
Thank you so much, sir. Always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you, Sharan.